Hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of On the Podcast, the podcast with, well, kind of a stupid name, let's be honest. Let's call it Spade Spade here, On the Podcast. But I guess we kind of made it the name because it's stupid, and because of the awkward English of it. Like, hey, you are on the podcast. You're not going to say anything about it?
Or, simply, you're on the podcast. Oh, hello, you're on the podcast.
Yo, you're on the podcast. So, it's a crappy name. We're also hoping that Google searches help us out because it's generic as possible. But anyway, this voice right here that you're listening to, I'm Tyler. I'm the creator and the only writer as of now for onthegamely.blogspot.com, a video game blog that gets updated fairly often. My Twitter is what's my Twitter? Twitter.com. What am I? Art bathed in crime, but in is spelt with an N. This is really awkward. I'm just going to cut this short because my Twitter doesn't matter. Just go to the blog. And I'm mobbing with Jacob.
The one and only Jacob, the founder of Men in Clogs. It's a gaming channel on YouTube that has no videos yet. The playlists aren't even public. So maybe you shouldn't go to that for a few weeks.
So don't go to it.
For a few weeks. Or ever.
Yeah, don't go to it. But when it's up, we will let you know. But yeah, so welcome to On the Podcast, and let's get this thing started. And welcome back. That was our theme song, made specifically for us, can you believe it, by Gay Vinyls, and I'm gonna shout out some information about him because he's bigger and browner than me, so he can probably kick my ass. But he's a good dude. So follow Gabe on Twitter at Dungeon Studio NY. Peep his SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Gabriel-Vinyls. Vinyls is spelled VINYLZ. Or like his Facebook page, facebook.com/The Dungeon Studio. He makes music, and he's just a chill dude.
Awesome music.
Awesome music. And he made that bitchin' power metal-y white boy rock video game theme song for us. And we thank him very much. So once again, that's
Thanks.
on Twitter at Dungeon Studio NY.
We'll be sending you your check soon.
What? We're not doing that for real. But, alright. So, this is... I guess I should say that even though this podcast is going to be on a video game blog, it's not just about video games. It's about... I mean, we're always going to talk video games, because video games are an important part of our lives, because we are nerds. But it isn't just about video games, because I'll be honest, I talk about video games all the time on the blog, and sometimes it's just nice to, talk about other interests. So this is going to be a more general thing, but it'll always come back to video games at some point.
We like wrestling, and wrestling will be talked about.
Yeah, we like wrestling.
And World Affairs, but who cares about World Affairs when you got games and wrestling, sweaty dudes, and fake people.
Exactly. And I think Jacob might be planning on doing a wrestling podcast, or a podcast of his own, where we're going to recap, I guess, wrestling, or Raw, or whatever. But until then, we'll be talking wrestling on here, I guess. So, let's get, after this long thing, let's get this baby going. So what's been up with you?
Well, I don't want to advertise anymore, but I've been making that channel. And that's all I've been doing. Oh, I've been playing GTA.
You've been playing GTA.
Well, GTA Online. To all those fans who say you should play the story first, I didn't. I haven't even touched the story outside like the first mission because I didn't know you could start the online. But you know, I'm one of those people. But it just didn't seem important to me. If it would have gave me money online or something, I probably would have. But I just went right into the online, and I've ruled the city. I like to think that Los Santos is my city now.
You know, I have like I've been a gamer for so long, but it's like I haven't even played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I didn't even really want to, regardless of how many good reviews it got and whatnot. I wasn't feeling it, but like I kind of watched you play online a little bit, not much, but a little bit, and I feel like if that came out in the next gen, I would probably buy it. But since my PS3 broke, and I only have my PS4 and my Wii U and my Dreamcast, the real next gen system, I can't really play Grand Theft Auto 5. But you know, that doesn't really make me sad because I don't doubt that it's awesome. I mean, how can beating up hookers and shit get old, really? But at this point, we have so many open world games and whatnot that I'm kind of, I don't know if over it is the right term, because I do like open world games, but it seems like every game they want to pull this like non-linear open world stuff, and that's fine, but there's really nothing wrong with a linear game that doesn't take 40 hours to beat or more. Or not beat, like you can beat most story modes in a shorter period of time. But like I don't actually need 40 hours of gameplay because there's so many other games I want to play too. But, you know, that's just my thought.
Statement number 2 to annoy people even more. It's probably one of my favorites. And it wouldn't even be the story that kind of, or many of the things, like even the music, like originally I was like, oh man, the radio's going to be awesome. But to be honest, it's probably one of the worst radios I've ever heard in a game because it's the only like 5 songs that repeat and they're like the worst songs I've ever heard. But the online is what sets it apart because there's so much to do. I can buy an apartment and then I can buy a mansion. I can store cars. I can store ugly cars. I roll up in VW buses into like when people are having wars, like players are just battling in the streets. They're all bringing in their supercars, and I roll up in a VW bus, and I'm like, no one.
See, but that's my whole life. Like that's my real life.
You roll into battles in VW buses?
Yeah.
We live together. You ain't telling me this.
No, I don't. I gotta have a secret life that you don't know about. I mean, I'm Grand Theft Auto is pretty much based on my life.
So essentially, my favorite GTA is your life.
Yes.
I knew they took influence from you.
If to the people, all 3 of you maybe, that are listening to this podcast, the moral of the story is GTA is based on my life. Yeah.
Well, man, that's basically all I've been doing. What have you been doing?
That isn't an awkward, like, forced transition, is it? Man, podcasts are cheesy. What are you doing with your life?
I'm not very good at interviews. Tried one at school today.
You did?
I kind of just walked away from it.
Who'd you interview?
I interviewed a teacher for a video. I had to be like, so what do you like about your job? Or no, it was like, I had to pretend I was from CNN and I'm like, they were asking me about some sports guy. They're like, do you know this person? And I'm like, no, I don't really. And they're like, they're my favorite. I'm like, they're my favorite too. And I just kind of walked away.
That's a great story. You have a real future in journalism.
Yeah, I'm really good at it.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's why I'm on this podcast.
Well, this podcast is pretty much going to shoot us right to fame anyway. So I'm not really too concerned. We won't need to really. We'll get to the point. Like our fame will be so great that we'll be famous just because we're famous. Like we won't have to do anything.
We'll be that podcast people hate, and they'll mention us. Be like, when you want to make a podcast, don't be like these guys.
Yeah, like maybe you should be a little prepared Because we're not really that prepared. We have a few topics to discuss just in case conversation dies. But we're trying to make this a little more free form. To anybody who watched our videos called On the Gamely, back when the blog was called Gamecepticon, it was more topic based. Like, we put in a lot of effort to do some research and come up with topics, and we tried to stay on topic.
Well,
We're just
one of us put an effort in.
Yeah, you, because I don't do nothing. I got little like midgets doing my work for me. Midgets? No, nothing against midgets. They do good work.
Warwick Davis, my favorite R2D2.
Well, there you
I
go.
hope I got that right. Yeah, basically.
You gonna go anywhere?
I kind of had a train of thought about.
But the train went off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, we'll be famous, and then my channel will have to mooch off this podcast.
We should just make a whole podcast talking about how famous we're gonna be. We are gonna be so famous that. No, I'm really not clever enough.
The thing is, we're sitting in a room with a video camera, and that's how we're talking. But most people have studios.
Yeah, like, we're so low budget.
And the best part of my preparation was 5 minutes before it, I was sneezing a lot and just sitting.
No, our preparation for this was me trying to find the cord to plug into the camera to charge it for like a good hour. Like, this podcast should have been done, and I should have been like in a hot tub with like the multiple girls that I have at my house at all times.
I should have been doing that in GTA.
Yeah. Well, all right. So what have I been doing? You ask.
Hot tubbing?
I've been working. I feel like if we ask each other this every podcast, I'm never gonna have anything remotely interesting.
He works
to
at
say.
a hot tub factory.
I work at a hot tub factory. No, I'm not going to say where I work. Because I'm not giving them... Because then they'll be famous.
Yeah. They'll mooch off your work.
Let's see.
And they'll find me, too.
On like a serious note, what have I been doing? I've been writing for the blog. I've been playing games. I've been reading books. You know, books are smart. You should read.
Nah, I read like 20 pages an hour because I find it hard to concentrate on books. I find them hard to understand. I find it hard to picture them, so no. Some are okay.
You don't like...
I liked The Notebook.
Ugh. You just admitted that on the interwebs.
And I liked The Green Mile, and I liked the Rorschach text, and I liked the Wizard of Oz. No, it's the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. Narnia. That's the one. And I liked The Tale of Desperado.
You just list every book you like. Well, in that case,
And I liked the Lego magazine.
I like Metamorphosis or the Metamorphosis from Franz Kafka. I like Death is a Lonely Business by Ray Bradbury.
Oh yeah, I also liked Kurt Vonnegut.
Kurt Vonnegut. You know he's been dead for God, what's it been, 3 or 4 years or something? That sucks.
He died in 2006.
Holy, it's been that long? It sucked. That was the worst year ever because Kurt Vonnegut died and then Ingmar Bergman died. So we had 2 legends of their respective art forms dead in the same... I mean, we get lots of legends that die in the same year, but those 2 hurt me most because Vonnegut's been my favorite author for years, and while Bergman isn't my favorite movie director of all time, he's in my top 20, and he's an absolute legend of foreign cinema. And you can't say foreign movies when you're talking about foreign movies because you have to be cultured. You have to be foreign cinema.
Yeah, I'm not very cultured.
That just makes you sound smart.
I don't even use 2 forks.
Or foreign films. You know, there's different levels of class, I guess. It's there's foreign movies, which makes you sound American and stupid. Or Canadian and stupid. And then there's foreign films, which is a little more high class because it's films. And then there's foreign cinema. I'm just making this up. I'm just bullshitting you.
You're being cultured, and I'm so uncultured that not only do I not use 2 forks, sometimes I'll eat food with my hands. Sometimes I don't even want to hold back. Sometimes I just grab the fries and just shove them in my mouth.
Sometimes I just shove the food up my nose. I'm just trying to get it in all holes.
And it's like,
once.
as I'm shoving it in, I'm still pouring the ketchup on. I'm trying to like guzzle down pop. And soda for those other people that don't say pop.
Who said soda, honestly?
I don't know. People usually say America, but all the Americans I see on like Reddit always say pop. I'm like, it's such a dying word. I kind of feel sad.
Don't say soda.
Or soda pop.
Speak English. Don't say soda.
We could say soda pop like that Outsiders character.
There's another book that you like.
I read that. Oh yeah, I also like the book A Separate Piece. Advanced English books.
Welcome to On the Podcast, the podcast where we talk about books, apparently.
And uncultured behaviors.
I didn't really see the podcast going in this direction, but I like it because books are an important part of my life. I'm actually... I hate saying this because it makes you sound like such a... I don't know. I feel like it makes me sound like a pretentious douche. But it's like, I want to be an author. I even started to write over the past week, but everything I wrote I didn't like. Which is a big deal for me, considering I've been saying I'm going to write for like a decade.
And I believe, by looking at the writers of 50 Shades of Grey, you do not need much formal training. You don't need to go to university.
All you got to do is do like a Twilight fan fiction, change the names, release, throw in a little bit of kinky sex, and all the people who have never spent like long on the internet will be like, oh, this sex, I can't believe people are having this kind of sex. Like, I can. I've seen worse every day of my life.
I am worse.
I do worse. I'm just joking. Nobody will sleep with me. Listen, what do you want to say? I know you want to say something.
The thing is, to write a book, you don't need fancy education. Really, you need heart and determination. And the ability to write.
I feel up until the last part, I felt like you were going John Cena on me or something.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Please be able to write.
Well, listen.
I mean, you could talk it and someone could write it down, but that's just too much money wasted.
Listen. It's going back to something I think we were talking about like 6 minutes ago or something. But you know what my problem with reading is? I always lay down to read right before bed. So, like, I get, like, maybe half an hour, and I don't read real fast, but, so I get maybe half an hour in, and then I'm just tired. So sometimes it takes me a long time to read a book. Why did I feel the need to share that? I don't know, but it's my podcast.
You know what my problem with reading is? I don't really...
You can't?
Yeah, let's face that. I might as well just say, I'm probably on the level of a third grader, because most kids are reading chapter books by like grade like 3, and it took me to grade 6 to be able to get through one. And most people are like, I can read 1,000 pages in a weekend. And I'm like, man, it took me a month to get through 100. What are you doing?
1,000 pages in a weekend would require a lot of reading for me. Like, I can do... Well, I don't even know. But that would take a whole lot of reading. I don't think I could do it.
No, I feel like if you're spending that much time, you need to go out to a party or get drunk or...
You don't even do any of this things. Neither do I.
I get drunk at GTA.
Let's not kid ourselves.
GTA is essentially Second Life, but fun. Or IMVU, but fun.
No, IMVU. I played that once, and it was the dumbest thing.
I was waiting until I could just start killing or something.
We kept doing like weird poses on each other and stuff. It was really sexy.
I was making out with random black dudes in it.
Oh, that's your real life. That happened. So how's life? No, should we move on? No, we're moving on because we got to get.
I got something to quickly say.
All right.
It means almost nothing to you, but for the vast countries like Japan and North America, that's not really a country, is it? No.
North America's a continent.
Yeah. But the countries that are inside it, Canada and the United States and Australia... No, I mean, that's not it. I mean, the countries that this affects, it's very exciting because how long? I think they've waited... I don't know when the announcement was, but finally Pokemon Bank was released.
Pokemon Bank.
I know it's pretty sweet because... I don't fully remember how much you can store in Pokemon. I believe it said Ruby was like 1,500, but I feel like that's wrong. But I know the Pokemon Bank for $5 a year, I think allows transfer between Kalos and whatever Black and White region is. So basically X and Y to Black and White 2. And it also allows a storage of 3,000 Pokemon, 100 boxes. For $5 a year, I'm like, that's pretty sweet if you're one of those people that does that. But I remember every Pokemon game, I never really finished them, but I had like a box full. I never found the need to catch every Pokemon I saw. Especially since, there's like 600 Pokemon, and that doesn't seem anything like 3,000, but power to them. And like, it's sad because Pokemon allows you to trade. Like, I think we're in the 6th generation now. You can still trade from the Game Boy SP versions. What you have to do to get some of these Pokemon is you have to start in the SP version, trade it to Diamond, then trade that to Black and White. Oh, and then if you wanted an X and Y, trade that to X and Y, and that's how you get that Pokemon. I just wanted a Mudkip.
I haven't played a Pokemon since like the first ones, so like I'm still repping like Primate. That's pretty much.
Were the first starters Bulbasaur or
wasn't it like
Cyndaquil?
Charmander?
Yeah, so then it was Charmander, Bulbasaur.
And Bulbasaur.
Yeah, so it wasn't. Yeah, the next ones are like Bayleaf and stuff.
No, it's all about Charmander. Listen, let's make a Pokemon sperm bank. I don't know where I'm going with that.
There's a daycare Pokemon, and you can take eggs, and I think they'll hatch them, and they'll also grow Pokemon for you there.
You spend a lot of time with Pokemon. You need help.
I just know that because that was always one of the things to train, but to me it was always the worst because you have to continuously walk to get your Pokemon to level up. So what they essentially want you to do is, it's kind of like Combat Arms, where what they're trying to tell you is they want you to just spend every second of your day on there to get your Pokemon high level. Now, I don't want to just keep walking back and forth. I hate getting in fights. I like the music, but I'm better than all of you.
I've never been in a real fight in my life. But I know we're not talking real life. We're talking Pokemon, which is realer than real life. A lightsaber duel? No, I can't. We shouldn't say names.
People.
With people. No, with myself.
I decided, I guess we'll say that I decided to bring down the Jedi Council. Really, it's just a friend when I was like 7.
I played Knights of the Old Republic 2 for the first time, like starting over Christmas break of last year. And just because it was gifted to me by our older brother, and the first one wasn't, but it was cheap, I guess, so he got it for me. And like, it was super satisfying being legit evil. Like, just as people would basically be talking to me, I'd just be like, listen, you're gonna die. And that would be the end. Like, I don't care. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. But yeah. Are you done with are you done with the Pokemon? Or do you want to talk about that for another 40 minutes?
I mean, I don't know. Some people are saying $5 a year is a waste, but I'm like, that's 12 months and it's only $5.
Everything's subscription based and whatnot. I'm noticing nowadays, like I've been playing like Final Fantasy 14, and you pay for the game, then you get like a month free, and then you gotta pay for a subscription. But like, I thought that was like a dead model, but apparently there's like Elder Scrolls Online is gonna be a subscription based game, and like I get it. It's just it kind of killed the appeal a little bit. Like, have you really paid attention to Elder Scrolls?
No, but I know a game that took that route originally, I believe, but decided out of it, the Old Republic.
Oh, yes. I knew you were going to say Star Wars.
SWTOR was like...
SWTOR.
Yeah, basically it was like, nah, we know this isn't going to go far.
Well, what's great is they're like, we have so much content, we need a subscription a monthly subscription, and then within a year they were free to play.
Now, take in mind, it's probably like it's sad. People would hate if I use this as an example, but it's probably something like I guess you could probably say I don't know if Dungeons and Dragons did it, but like Adventure Quest Worlds, where it's essentially they're like, oh, this is a free game, you can do everything, but really half of it is just advertising. Like you'll go into like a battle, and I bet you'll probably see a screen telling you, oh, if you want to do this, buy free premium. And they'll like Adventure Quest Worlds, I know had like premium levels and weapons, and actually half the weapons were premium. You couldn't do half the stuff without like premium, and they would throw it in your face that you should buy it, which is I'm guessing probably what Tor does.
Yeah.
And even WoW I think does that because they're like, oh, you can go to level 30, but then once that's done, you can't do much, which is kind of bad because most people are like level 80, and you're rolling around like low level.
I can't speak for WoW, but I did play Shodor once it became free to play. I played it a little bit, not a long time, but I could definitely tell certain things. Their free to play model is kind of a bit of bullshit. Not really a Star Wars guy. I didn't really get into it, so I quit out probably earlier than I should. But I don't know.
They did do something cool for free. I think free to play can also do it. They finally had like dogfights. So essentially, you remember Star Wars Battlefront 2 had those like flying in space, taking out ships. They finally added something like that. I'm like, they either realized their product was failing and decided, well, let's mooch off Battlefront 2, but that's probably what they did.
They also got 2 expansions coming. They announced. I can't remember. I make fun of... No, I don't... Ooh, I almost fell. I don't think I really make fun of it.
It's a solid game. I think for free to play, it's the one No, Path of Exile I think I enjoyed the most for free to play.
Yeah, because Path of Exile is just a good game. It's not a free... Like, it doesn't feel like a free to play. And I'm not even the type of guy who hates free to play. Like, I can appreciate I can do some extra grinding in games and whatnot if it's a free game, and that doesn't really bother me. Like, people complain like, oh, it's free, I gotta grind this and this and this, just piss me off because it's a free game. But I understand when they're like, like, oh, the models for it is stupid. Like, the Old Republic actually denied you certain elements of the game unless you paid.
Yeah, which is
that's
Adventure Quest Worlds did.
And that's not cool. Like, that's stupid. But like a game like Neverwinter, I mean, I got a fair amount of time out of it. I didn't really come across anything that was completely stupid about the way they handled free to play. Now, I'm sure MMO fanatics will be like, wow, it did this and this and this, and I'm not really an MMO guy. Which, to kind of bring it back to Elder Scrolls, because I did want to discuss Elder Scrolls. Because you like Elder Scrolls games, right? Or haven't you played them much?
I haven't really played much. I have Skyrim, and I'm waiting to do Let's Plays of it to really get into it.
I specifically kind of thought of this topic because I thought you would spend some time.
I don't know much about online, but I know a lot about Skyrim.
Maybe I should have waited till we get Justin, who I can't remember his Twitter. @Blockbuster guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give him a shout out, and it's like because I didn't actually do research. Like the Gabe shout out was research, but Justin I'd have to whatever. I think it's @Blockbuster guy. There's a link to his blog on the Gamely. It's a resident movie lover. So, because check that out. Yeah, check that. He talks about movies, obviously. But anyway, maybe I should have waited till he was on, because I know he's a big Skyrim guy. But The Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know if you know anything about it. What I want, and what I've wanted since Morrowind, I want to play Elder Scrolls, like, with my friends.
I was surprised something like Skyrim didn't have Even a multiplayer feature.
Just give me one or like the chance to play online with a friend or play split screen online Yeah, play split screen. That's all I really want. I want the game exactly as is, but with a friend, because I think that would be fantastic. But Elder Scrolls Online, it still has kind of some of those elements of being an Elder Scrolls game, and the fact that it's first person is kind of fresh because a lot of MMOs, or pretty much all MMOs I've played, haven't been first person. But it'll be nice to play something in first person, and it does seem to have some depth, but it'll have that MMO. I don't know, it's not MMO bullshit. I'm just not like a massive MMO guy, but I just wanted like Skyrim basically with my friend, and that's on me. Like I've decided I'm probably still gonna get Elder Scrolls Online, and I'll probably pay the subscription fee for you'll get a free month, and I'll probably have to buy another month or two, and then I'll probably quit out because I do still want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much what I want from Elder Scrolls. But
funny thing, when you said split screen online, took me back to a night I was playing Forever Dark with friends. And if you go online, you can set it up that for some apparent reason you can see their screen, so it splits it in half. And I'm like, who would want to split their screen in half online if they're not with you? I'm like, it's cool that I can see what my friends do, but you reminded me of that. I'm like, that's a great feature.
the days of split screen.
But with that, yeah, I was surprised there's no multiplayer, because I know it's not alike, but Fallout's kind of like that big kind of game like it where you do a lot of quests, and even that, like Fallout games and stuff don't have multiplayer, do they?
No, none of those like Bethesda games do. And although it should be noted that Elder Scrolls Online isn't a Bethesda game,
Isn't it?
no.
Yeah.
So that should be noted, but it's weird because I mean I guess I don't know, maybe it would be difficult, but those games would be so good. Like 2 players even. They would be good. I guess that's kind of what a game like Borderlands was, why that was appealing. Like, I remember when I first heard of Borderlands. Like, normally I'm on top of my game news, especially nowadays. But I remember, like, sitting at Wendy's with Justin and him being like, yo, there's this game we should play. Well, this isn't quote for quote, but this is definitely how he talks. No, not really, but but that's going to be his voice. So Justin's like, hey man, we should play this game that it's called Borderlands, and it's like a co-op first-person shooter. And I'm like, sold. That's all it took. Like, I knew nothing about it. It's just like a split screen. Did I say split screen when I was mocking him? Whatever, split screen co-op game, and you can play online as well, and that's what sold it for me. And I guess they're not as
Avast virus database has been updated.
And there's my Avast. Funny story. I tried to get rid of it a while back, and my computer just kept fucking up, so I just restored it back to when I had it.
Thanks, Avast.
Yeah, thanks Avast.
Yo, shout out to Avast.
No, not shout. I hate Avast.
Special guest Avast.
Avast can lick my balls. And I'm not paying you for your appearance either, Avast. So, yeah. So, like, Borderlands doesn't have as many side quests and whatnot as, like, a game like Skyrim. But it's sort of similar in the way it handles certain things, I guess. Not really. Whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Nah.
But it would be nice to have more games like Borderlands, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
To finish up on the thought of that, something like... Now, I'd going back to SWTOR or Soda or whatever for a second. I mean, it was kind of fun. It was a little bit annoying in the beginning. Like, I played as a trooper because I was like, I want to roll up just blasting and shooting people because that's how you go. But I think the only reason why I ever actually wanted to play it was because, like, the lore or the story of that part of Star Wars to me is much better than the movies. I said that. Ooh, that annoys people. I know, but
don't worry, nobody's gonna be listening to this anyway.
But that's like the only reason, because it's like really dark and in depth, and it isn't just like the movies. But yeah,
you know, coming from a guy, And I have pledged this year to give Star Wars an honest to God chance. Because for as many movies as I love and I've watched, I don't like Lord of the Rings, and I just don't like Lord of the Rings. But like the only like famous series I guess that I'm really into is Rocky. But like Star Wars, I'm not what?
The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, I guess The Dark Knight. But those are so new that they have yet to reach like the classic status. But I've pledged to try to get into Star Wars. But as a non-Star Wars fan, I got to admit, just from the very little I know, the like expanded universe that's only in like, well, some games, but like from the books and stuff, they have so much good shit to mine for like movies and games and whatnot. Like there's a lot of good lore.
Like, you look at the movie and you think, oh, the good guys have been on top of it for all the time. But actually, I'm pretty sure I think the Star Wars universe is split into like six or seven eras. One of them being an alternate era that doesn't actually fit into the story, but the other ones being them how they played it through the books and the games. And the games I think take place thousands of years before the movies. And I think there's barely a reference. I don't think there's even a movie character that is as old as the game. Like when you played the Knights of the Old Republic, there was no like Lord Sidious or Yoda, was there?
No.
Alright, so basically the Empire was on top of the whole thing. Like they're just crushing everyone. There's points where there was the Republic, but it wasn't always the Republic was the Empire. There's a long time where it was the Republic versus the Empire, and it was just mainly the Republic being thrashed as in SWTOR. Like most of the cutscene, most of like the trailers for it were just the Empire just going around and like stabbing people, shooting people, and then the Republic doing almost nothing.
Also based on my life.
Yeah, basically you're
everything cool is based on my life.
Are you the Empire or the Republic? Because the Republic looked much cooler.
But wasn't the Empire more evil?
Yeah, but they strolled in and they're like, yeah, and then the Republic are hiding in trees and they just drop down, and one of them like holds a grenade right in front of like a Sith Lord. He doesn't even care. He's like, come at me, and the Sith does. But then a Jedi comes in and she's all like,
Jedis ruin everything.
No.
I hate Jedis.
Yeah, to be honest, one clone commander was taking out almost a whole Sith army there. He wasn't stopping. He even took lightning to himself and still stood.
Speaking of clones, let's talk wrestling. That wasn't a good transition? Is that what that look means?
I think we're working on it. Maybe by like the 100th podcast, maybe we'll have the transitions down.
Alright, so stay tuned.
I used to like to
in about 2 years, we will have good transitions.
I used to like to put either little jingles or someone going, oh, you're listening to this. To like,
yeah, no, but I'm not putting in that much effort. Man, I got a theme song.
It's true.
You didn't have a theme song written specifically for you.
I didn't even have a theme song. I think I just took some Linkin Park song. Oh.
By Gabe Vinyls.
Shout out to Gabe.
No, we don't even have to give him any more shout outs now, because literally at the beginning of every podcast we will give him a shout out for his theme song. So yeah, wrestling. Let's talk wrestling. So
are we talking that fake crap? Or that real crap? That UFC crap?
Well, UFC's not just wrestling, but you know,
I had to throw that one in there because I get that all the time.
I know. I like both. I would talk about our interests a little more, but probably the only people listening to this know us anyway. But if you happen to be a random on the internet, we like pro wrestling. I also really like MMA, although I'm a pro wrestling guy in my heart because that's what I watched when I was a kid, and I still watch it now, even though I got out of it for a little while. Jacob is a pro wrestling guy mainly, but he enjoys some MMA too, do you not?
Yeah. Ronda Rousey.
So if we make a joke about MMA or even whatever, we're not hating because we like both. I love both. But anyway, so let's talk wrestling. Let's talk the big news.
To be honest, both sides can be hostile towards each other.
The hate for each side, the hate that they have for each other is ridiculous. considering they're so intertwined, like the roots of certain some of the MMA is in pro wrestling.
When you think back to the times of them Greeks with their with their Greco-Roman and their
and when the Greeks used to cut epic promos backstage,
they would sit back there
like the Ultimate Warrior style promos, talking about how they're gonna like fly their chariot into the sun.
Yeah, they used to have like the gods come down themselves.
Hogan.
They'd be like, Zeus is running through this Colosseum, brother.
These are the worst. This is the worst.
Yeah. That's essentially what happened during that time. That's where wrestling was born.
Yeah, that's when pro wrestling was born.
Sometime during that time, Vince McMahon was born.
Hulk Hogan was even alive back then. So was Ric Flair.
A lot of our, I could say Vince McMahon was probably. He's just a little bit young then.
Ric Flair has looked old for as long as I've been watching wrestling. I mean, he wasn't a young guy when I started watching wrestling, but he's always looked like he's like 80.
Was he an actual wrestler in Evolution, or was he just a manager?
You know, I actually kind of pieced. I think he wrestled.
Yeah.
A wrestling fan, I actually pieced out of it for a little while there. I didn't really get involved in like Evolution. But,
I used to watch it as a kid, but I don't remember anything.
So anyway, CM Punk left. You like how I just threw that out there? I didn't even soften the blow.
No one even cares.
I mean, you already knew, but I mean, to the people who didn't know, I just threw. It's like a death of a family member, and I just threw it in their face. Just like that, like CM Punk left.
No one really cared because he's like that top dog that just slept his way to the top. No talent, no mic skills. He's as bad as Daniel Bryan is.
Are you just gonna troll the entire podcast? I'll just call it Jacob's Troll Hour. He doesn't actually think that.
I like Punk.
You know what the thing about like this kind of thing is? Every time something like this happens, I always feel like it's a work.
Especially since, even to like right now, since the Rumble, all I ever see is constant bashing and people basically like getting all upset. They're like, WWE's the worst company. They haven't got a pay-per-view right in months or years. They don't know how.
They haven't been good since the Attitude Era.
Their creative team doesn't know what they're doing, and I'm just sitting here going, because they're trolling you.
Well, the thing is...
Maybe the Punk thing isn't. I'll leave that for other people to decide. I think it is. It just, there's so many signs that lead to it. Even the minds themselves have a calendar based on this, but I just, like... Going back to the Rumble, the whole Batista thing was totally to make, and I think you even said this, or you even stated this, I don't know, the Authority made them just look more authoritative. Yeah.
Authoritative on the podcast.
Yeah.
Authoritative.
You think we could even get them on here? You think Triple H would come on here?
Yeah, Triple H is probably listening right now.
Nope. Shout out to Paul, and that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do the hand signal when I do it too. I'm just so
you look like you're Saloon Hitler. I'm gonna throw that out there. That's what you look like.
What does this
They
look
can't
like
see you, but I can. I don't know. I just always like, even the fact that apparently WWE stopped following them on Twitter and stuff. It just, people kind of cited that as like, they even stopped following them on Twitter, and then it's like, it's wrestling. Like, that could be fake.
Wasn't there a wrestler that they did? Wasn't it, didn't someone leave for a bit and they actually all like, oh no, he's gone, and they did the exact same thing? The only thing is that I think if he did leave, it seems sloppy, and this is the only part where it seems critical because everyone's like, he's been erased from everything. I'm pretty sure certain advertisements on the website, he's still there. The Mattel toy line, they've just released a CM Punk toy. Now that's a bit different because they couldn't just stop it automatically.
Yeah.
But like, there's parts of the website where he's still there, as if like they completely overlooked it. Because that to me just seems like a little bit of sloppiness in a work more than just because if they wanted to get rid of him, that would be odd. Because even when Caitlyn left, they still featured articles about her. Now, unless Punk...
he could be gone. Like, I mean, I'm leaning more towards him being gone. But see, I mean, maybe unless there was an article that was released that actually confirmed it.
I haven't.
But I haven't seen anything that actually confirmed.
I think I've been on their website, and unlike the Caitlyn thing, there was no like, oh, today Caitlyn left, this is their last match. And even though I'm pretty sure it was the same thing where she was upset, they still decided to show up. But this one, they kind of just did that awkward thing that WWE does where a storyline just awkwardly ends and then it'll come back. So that's why I think it's still storyline-ish.
So you can't trust wrestling. Pro wrestling is like
They kind of twist the laws of physics, is what you're trying to say.
pro wrestling is like your ex-girlfriend. Like you can't trust her, and she
Which
just
one? I got
all she did was cheat on you while you sat in a corner and blubbered like a little girl.
Nah, to be honest, I was probably watching wrestling at the time.
Well, I wasn't talking about you. It was like more of a general you. Oh, really? I was just talking about me. But anyway, whatever. Yeah. So I guess CM Punk's gone, but you never know. Maybe he'll come back. But I got one thing to say. I hate the crowds though. Like sometimes crowds make wrestling more often than not, but sometimes the crowds are so obnoxious. Like the chanting of CM Punk during things. It's like, newsflash, fellas, CM Punk left you. Like, he left you. I mean, whether you agree or not, and certainly some people agree, oh, the product sucks, so good for him for leaving, he still abandoned you guys. And I'm still a Punk fan. Don't get me wrong, I like Punk. We've talked about this, but I think he is one of the greatest entrances because his entrance feels like a big-time entrance. And we've talked about this, but not on camera. Like as much as I like someone like Daniel Bryan, his entrance doesn't really feel like a big entrance. It's good when he runs in, but as just normal entrance, like Brock has a big entrance, The Shield has a big entrance, CM Punk, The Undertaker, of course, Mark Henry. I feel like his entrance is big. But some wrestlers just have a big entrance, and I don't feel like someone like Daniel Bryan really does. I could be wrong. People might think, what the fuck are you talking about? But, like, I miss CM Punk. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll cheer him if he comes back. But he abandoned you guys.
I feel like WrestleMania, like just him appearing and everyone would be amazed. That music is so perfect for WrestleMania. It just feels so great, like when he comes back.
Yeah.
The song's so perfect for him.
Speaking of WrestleMania, they've been teasing, Sting having finally signed to the WWE, but they also teased that many times before. But I keep seeing articles, like now the newest article was, I can't remember what it was, but it was just saying he's close to signing, but he probably won't appear at this WrestleMania. It'll probably be 31. Of course, I will not believe Sting signed with the WWE until Sting shows up at the WWE.
Last Sunday, I had a different article. I had an article that said that as of Sunday, he was signed.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a few things. As of Sunday, he had signed. They didn't predict he'd be at WrestleMania, but he'd be at the following Raw because it's basically just as big. And there's where he'd probably confront Taker, because Taker probably also won't be at that WrestleMania. And in that same article, supposedly Hogan wasn't cleared to wrestle for WrestleMania, but he's been cleared to be the host of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I heard that, but then I was on the crapper today and I read the Sting thing, so I don't know. We don't know, we won't know until.
And that's guess
Sting
what? People are
up.
already complaining about it because they don't like people like that kind of act. They're like, nah. I'm like, no. As someone who's never seen them, I'm quite excited.
Sting is 55, but Sting as the Crow Sting in WCW back in the good old days when it was NWO versus WCW, Sting was my boy. Like, he was like my favorite wrestler at the time. And then like Stone Cold and like Sting and Stone Cold and Mick Foley and whatever were my favorites. Bret Hart at the time. But, yeah, to see Sting show up, it doesn't matter if the match sucks. Especially if it's him versus Undertaker, because at this point, it's just the moment. It's the surreal nature that Sting is there, and he's taking on the Undertaker. We're kind of, like, talking a lot, so I was going to kind of ask you about what you think about ending the streak, but we should probably move on. Unless there's something you really want to say about it.
Nah, I don't know. I think I don't really think it should, but if it ever was, like you said, Sting would seem cool. But I also always just felt like when I thought about it, like Kane, because they're story brothers.
Yeah.
And it'd feel fitting. Like, would you rather Kane or John Cena? Like, I don't think they would do
It's
that.
just John Cena realistically is one of the only people that can do it because he's John Cena. And some people don't like the idea of Sting doing it, which I totally understand. Because I get that Sting is not a WWE guy. I get that The Undertaker should keep his streak. And mostly I kind of lean towards keeping Taker's streak. But at the same time, I'm a Sting guy. So if Sting ended the streak, I'd be happy because I'm a Sting guy. So, like, WCW in their prime was better than WWE. Only WCW couldn't hold, you know... They were, like, always going to be, like, a... Like, when they were at their best, they were amazing, but it was for a short period of time. WWE, you know, they've stuck around, obviously. For better or for worse. Yeah. So, we're kind of, like... We're, like, 50 minutes into this. So, I'm gonna just... I know we had some kind of topics we thought about discussing. Screw it, let's throw one out. So Bill Nye the Science Guy just debated creationist Ken Ham a couple days ago. I listened to like half an hour of it, but really that was only their like introductory statements, and then I got to listen to Ham talk about creationism. I never actually really listened to Bill Nye. Because I don't know, like, I was just kind of listening to it for something to do, but then I found other better things to do.
The whole thing, as I've read, and the little part I saw, supposedly went through the whole thing, it's really just facts versus a really defensive statement that really was just, Bill Nye puts facts, other guy tries to be defensive and turn it around, like, I think one part was like, you're making these assumptions based on... As like if the same science appeared back then, and you're trying to say that you knew you can say that you would know what Noah was like, and Bill Nye's like, you're trying to tell me that one man with no experience built a boat. Did you know him? And then Bill Nye's like, did you know him? You're like, no. And it was really just like it was really fact versus. As someone, I think it's kind of rude, but they're like, it's fact versus imagination. That's what someone kind of pointed out. It wasn't like a mean debate. Like, they were both pretty friendly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in the end they, like, hugged.
Well,
and,
no, those debates are civil.
And
they
like,
just get heated because debates always get heated.
Bill Nye never seems to be, like, a rude, like, dude. Like, half of the internet I've seen that when they try to have a debate, it just turns out, like, that's fake. You shouldn't believe in that. That's stupid. You ruin us. Instead it was... I respect you. It's like kind of like Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking's like that. If you've ever watched him talk about like science, he's like, his whole statement is like, I don't really believe in what you believe in, but I respect it. But I'm going to tell you what I believe in, and you can interpret what you want to believe. I'm like, that's pretty honorable.
I'm not gonna get into the whole like whether evolution or creationism is correct because I've seen those arguments so many times. But what I will comment on are a couple things, really. One, the debate's not even fair. And here's why I'll tell you. And I'm not... Okay, reason number one. It's Bill Nye the Science Guy. He wins by default. Because everybody like looks at Bill Nye and goes, that's fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy. So he wins. Even Ken Ham probably... was like, fuck, I lost. That's Bill Nye the Science Guy. So there's reason one. Two, he's debating a guy with the last name Ham. So it's like, okay, so he's got those, he's going against Bill Nye and his name is Ham. So there's those two strikes against him. And the third, he believes in creationism. Ooh. No, I'm just joking. But
it was kind of like, I think Bill Nye himself said it was like, simply... It's science versus, like, creationism where I forget. I don't know if it was Bill Nye or like Hawking said like they're annoyed by people like trying to take science like evolution out because the Bible isn't a textbook, a science textbook, and like I'm at least glad that people I've talked to can even agree that like who are religious, it shouldn't be used as a textbook because it isn't intended to be a textbook. It's about your life, not trying to teach science. And now it is a pretty like there are some really accurate things in that, and I can't deny, but
there's some issues like I kept seeing people like, oh, Bill Nye, like scientists even, and like Dawkins or whatever the fuck, him saying like Bill Nye shouldn't even debate creationism with this guy because it lends an air of respectability to creationism, and I'm gonna go a little hard on scientists that believe that right now. And this will offend scientists, but who am I really who am I kidding? Scientists aren't going to listen to this podcast because we're too stupid.
Shout out to Hawkins.
But if you're really, it's like a 2-hour debate or so. Like if you really are that upset, like that's such a waste of time, you should really just get a life. Because Bill Nye pretty much can do whatever the hell he wants. And it's one of those things where people just get, I don't know, people get too serious about things sometimes. But, so I don't really believe that, what I'm trying to say is I don't believe that Bill Nye should be criticized for debating against him. Because, honestly, why the hell not? It was interesting from what I listened to, and it got the topic going, and
especially since he isn't trying to disprove, like, the whole God thing, and he isn't like there trying to destroy it. I'm pretty sure he's okay with believing what they believe, but he wants to believe what he wants to believe. He's just there to argue that he's kind of angry that science is trying to be taken out of schools when he's like, it's kind of the future. Without science, you're not getting anywhere. Really.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
not to sound offensive by that,
you should not stop teaching science.
And like, if people are upset by evolution, then I'm pretty sure you can ask to like either switch things in schools, tell them you're uncomfortable, and I don't want like really religious studies in science. I'm okay with a separate class because then that means more time for religious studies that I want to learn about. But see, I learned about like a lot about creation and the different religions takes on creationism from ancient history, which is where it should kind of be because that's where it fits. But I go both sides. I don't really think there's a God constantly watching. But I do think, like, because it's kind of odd. They've proven the Higgs boson, which is like a cell that completely destroys the cell theory. Because you know the cell theory, that whole thing, like everything's made up of cells, blah blah blah, and everything comes from a pre-existing cell. Then why was one cell able to create itself out of nowheres? And there's one like a god right there, or a goddess, or gods, goddesses, whatever.
Well, it's funny you mention it because it's like ultimately a creationist argument will never be disproven on the grounds that it'll be like, well, this is actually how the universe was created by this and this science. But then all the creationists have to say is, but who created that? But then you don't know. So it's like it makes, and I'm going to even say it makes logical, I guess, sense that there's a God in that sense.
But then they'll throw the whole time has always existed, blah blah blah. Like, but there's now then the time is a human perception that there's no real beginning or end. But I'm like, the universe will end.
But then
there has to be something helping.
But then they can always throw that God was there.
And especially since there's a lot of science now that is backed a lot by religious studies. I cannot even get into it because I don't remember.
We don't have time.
Yeah, but like, go Wikipedia fine-tuning, and that will kind of show you that how is it that the universe is created like at a millionth chance that perfect. And there's where fine-tuning comes in. And that's why like the Higgs boson is so controversial because why does that cell get to create itself? And you'll ask the scientists how does it, and they don't know. Then you might as well say God. And there's probably where my belief of a God exists or stops because I just believe it was probably at least And I can almost say the Higgs boson was the god, right? Or goddess. I don't really care. No gender.
You want to know the only god I believe in? Nintendo.
And as wise words, I don't think people should be labeling themselves. When people so basically what you're saying is you're an atheist or you're Christian. I'm like, nah. A wise teacher once told me, I'm not anything. I don't want to be a label of either. I really don't know what I believe. I'm just a person. And I'm like, that's some wise words. Feel like I just...
Well, we've already hit an hour, but screw it. Let's do this all night, Ric Flair style.
24 hours.
We're going
break the world.
We'll try to make our next podcast a little shorter.
48 hours?
Within an hour or so. But you know what? This is our first one. Let's go hog wild. Let's get it. Let's milk and bore people. Milk and bore. I meant to say let's milk the time and bore people for another at least half an hour. Let's give them something to put them to sleep tonight. But I did try to transition to Nintendo. But you were coming through the door blast.
I wasn't stopping.
On scientists, creationists, whatever.
But really, both sides.
Like, are you going to be okay?
I respect both sides.
Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Because you're kind of throwing your hands around. So I just
get all excited.
I know, you're getting all excited.
I may hit you by accident.
You need some Kleenex?
Nah.
I did kind of try to transition, though, to Nintendo.
A much better topic.
But I wanted... What? No, this is serious shit.
Bill Nye shot
An hour into our first podcast, shit is about to get serious.
Oh, now we're getting into games.
But I did want to make a habit of asking this question every podcast. So before we kind of talk about Nintendo, I'm going to throw it out. Just like we did on the Gamely videos to start them. What you playing?
Well, recently... You want to know what I've been playing?
Well, no, I did ask. No, I don't care. Here's what I've been playing.
GTA Online. I've been playing a bit of that Xbox Minecraft since I got it for free. Playing a bit of that Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 1. And I've just been watching game videos of other games I'll be recording. So I'm saving all my games.
And I got a note that his game videos will probably be showing up on the Gamely blog as well. But they're not up yet, so...
No videos. Well, I have nothing to record them. I could just record myself.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you want to hear about me playing?
So, I was in level 2, and I got really frustrated.
Yeah.
Because games were hard back then. That's what you've been playing?
Yeah. I've been hardcoring that Sonic, though. I'm right into that.
You're a Sonic guy, and we always argue because I'm like, if it didn't exist on the Genesis, like if it was like a game that came after, like a Sonic game that came after, I haven't played it and I don't care.
It's on that Dreamcast. It has those really, really big stories that are deep and dark.
I mean, I got a Dreamcast. I could buy Sonic, but
only 2 of the games in the 3D series.
But I don't really want it because there's other games I want to play. You want to know what I've been playing?
What?
Well, I mentioned earlier, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, that MMO. I wasn't actually going to play it originally, but I got in the mood for Final Fantasy, and it's going to be a while until 15 comes out, so I was like, fuck, I'm going to go play, MMO Final Fantasy. It does have some of the Final Fantasy charm, but to me it doesn't, I don't know. It feels a little bit it feels like Final Fantasy, but at the same time it kind of doesn't, because it is an MMO ultimately. I don't know, that probably doesn't make sense, and I don't really care about making sense. What else have I been playing? I played the new second episode of The Wolf Among Us. I played that last night. That was an hour and a half long. That's it. I started it pretty late last night, and thinking, I'll probably have to play it today, and because I wanted to review it, but I beat it in an hour and a half. I'm like, well, so it was a little short, but it was fun. And let's see, what else have I been playing? I played the new Jack King Spooner game, Sluggish Mars or Mars, whatever, 3. Well, it's ad infinitum. but I talked about that on the blog before. But what I'm really looking forward to is tomorrow, because Bravely Default
The
comes
Lego
out.
movie.
Hold on, we'll get to that. Bravely Default comes out for the 3DS. Jazz Punk comes out on the PC, so I got 2 games that I'm looking to review at some point, though Bravely Default will be in the future because it'll take me a while to play through it, but Jazz Punk I'll probably try to get up a review fairly quickly. That's pretty much it. I haven't been playing a lot of games really. Yeah, that's what I've been playing. So, Nintendo. Don't worry, we're going to talk about the Lego movie. The movie that's based on the game, that's based on the game, that's based on the game.
Yeah.
Nintendo. Oh, screw it. I'm too depressed to talk about Nintendo. I don't want to talk about them anymore.
Nintendo is a great company.
I love
and it's the
Nintendo.
gods of gaming.
I love Nintendo, and I was gonna trash on people hating on Nintendo, but you know what? I spend too much time trashing on people who hate on Nintendo.
If you want to see him trash, go to the blog.
I don't know if I've really trashed.
Gets on his Gatling gun and just loads it up with
Metaphorically
trash.
speaking.
Yeah, no, literally with trash.
I literally got a Gatling gun.
And he fires at all of the haters. He basically goes Jane Silent Bob style, flies to everyone's house and just opens fire on them.
Jane Silent Bob was based on my life.
Everything is.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I wanted to talk Nintendo, but I don't think I even want to talk Nintendo anymore. They've done some things wrong. I mean, I won't deny that, but they're still Nintendo.
Mistakes.
They got to just turn it around a little bit. Let's talk about the Lego movie, though. I know you wanted to discuss.
As Avatar Aang in the Legend of Korra series said, when we are at our lowest points, we have the greatest change, and that is to you, Nintendo. It was deep.
That was kind of emotional a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I was into it. I was into it a little too much. If you weren't my brother, I think I'd make out with you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make out with you anyway. I
I'm
don't know.
saving that one.
You've been waiting like an hour and 20 minutes just to throw that out there.
No, I've been waiting all day. I'm like, I gotta reference Avatar. Actually, I think I was thinking about that today. I'm like, something I do, I need to just reference Avatar. I'm like,
And it doesn't matter how, whether I gotta shoehorn it in an awkward transit. Like I'm sitting there talking to my friend, and my friend's like, you know, my mother passed away today. To quote Avatar.
yeah.
If I had a quote, I would have said it, but I don't have any quotes for you from Avatar.
You didn't really watch it.
No,
But not the movie either.
I watched the movie.
I'm talking no, and we're not talking that bad movie by M. Shyamalan.
Don't do it. Don't purposely pronounce his name wrong,
I don't
because that
actually
makes you sound like a douchebag.
I don't know how to say his name. Sham.
Whatever.
I mean,
you know, to make
Sham.
it easy, I used to just say M. Night.
Yeah,
just
by
call
M.
him M.
Night.
Night.
And I'm talking The Great Show. Not by him. By that other.
Yes, I know. You know, I watched the movie. I don't like the movie.
No one did.
But I don't hate the movie. Like, it was one of these movies where I watched it, and possibly because I don't have any Avatar connections, I watched it, and as a movie, like, it's okay. I rated it like a 5 out of 10, which is literally the score I give something when I don't know whether to recommend it or not. Like, I put it right on that line, and I'm just like, I could understand if you were a fan of Avatar why you would despise this movie. But as a movie, like, it was not even decent. It was, I don't know, it was just kind of there.
There were so many mistakes. The ethnic groups are completely wrong. Like, the people who are supposed to be like native people were white, and the people who were supposed to be white were native. And
I had read that before the movie came out, but see, like, that doesn't matter to me because I'm not an Avatar guy.
The prince's scar was stupid. There was that one scene where they're trying to earthbend, and it's like 7 guys are doing it, and this little pebble rises up, and I'm like, seriously, you couldn't do anything better than that? I don't even think that guy watched the show.
Well, it probably didn't.
Probably watched
That was the greatest movie of all time, and you should respect
Well, there's
it.
that one person on that one website that said 10 a best movie or something. That person was so right.
There's this guy, I don't know to anybody, and I know Justin will definitely, and I keep showing him out because I know he's listening. Because maybe he could, yeah, he's outside my room.
We're not streaming.
He's the only guy who might actually put himself through this. Because that dude listens to too many podcasts. Like, 10 hours a week or some shit. Anyway. But, I only listen to hours. But,
the best.
what was I gonna say? Why did I bring him up?
For that Criticker dude.
Oh yeah, Criticker. There's this dude on Criticker. It's a movie rating site. It's a fantastic site. I don't have anything to do with it aside the fact I'm a member. I'm not getting paid for this advertisement. But if you want to rate movies and have an awesome site that recommends movies and actually does a pretty good job, join www.criticker.com for all your movie needs. They got that advertisement for free because I love that site. But anyway, there's this guy. Well, I don't even remember what his username is. And he's getting an advertisement for free. He does every movie, except for a few, which was weird. 10 out of 10, great movie.
But it was weird, like, it's all movies that most people like. Like Avatar is one of them that was 100%. It's all the movies that most people never rate even close to 100, that were 100. And then, like, the things like The Dark Knight were way below Avatar. I'm like,
10 out of 10, great movie.
Yeah, I was like, 10 out of 10. Was funny, laughed, great movie.
10 out of 10, podcast. 10 out of 10, great podcast.
10 out of 10, I laughed, Tyler was funny.
Avatar, yeah. Yeah, Criticker.
Yeah.
Avatar. Whatever. We'll talk movies on a...
I recommend the show to you for something with that good anime influence, but completely different story. That was nothing like anime.
So the Lego Move.
Yes.
That starts, well, today technically, because by the time you guys are listening to this podcast, it will be Friday.
Kids will be going wild for that.
You know, like, got a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
I will laugh if it just fails.
The
Horribly.
trailer looks funny. I just kind of always am scared that it's going to be one of these movies that's just going to be stupid, as opposed to, like, try way too hard. But I mean, I know that the movie's not technically out, but 98% to start on Rotten Tomatoes, that's a pretty good sign. If, you know, that doesn't guarantee you're going to like it. But
was that, like, critics? Or?
I can't remember. I didn't really... Do I have it open? I can...
Sometimes I flip-flop and caring if it's the critics or... Sometimes I feel like the critics are just wrong.
Well, okay, we got 99% on the tomato meter. Average rating 8.2 out of 10. Reviews count at 72.
10.
96% of the audience want to see it. That might be the first 2014 movie I go see. Movies are... My movie watching is kind of taking a drop this year. You want to know a movie I do want to see, and I'm gonna shout this out, and we can go back to the Lego Movie if you want to wrap things up, but
Frozen.
Vampire Academy.
Yeah.
It looks so dumb, but it's like it's from the director of Mean Girls, another movie that I thought looked really dumb, but then ended up being quite funny, except for the second one. The second one was bullshit, and. Yeah, I kind of want to see Vampire Academy, but I just threw that out there because Vampire Academy is on the screen. Rotten Tomatoes were on, and I see it. But, yeah, the Lego Movie.
Has Batman in it.
Has Batman, has Lego.
And Gandorf, or Gandork, or whatever the frick his name is from Lord of the Rings. You know, the dude in
Not
white.
Ganondorf, that's Zelda.
No, Gandalf. I always get those two mixed up. They're so similar. They're just big, hairy dudes.
That was based on Off My Life. So, you got anything else you want to say about it? It just looks funny.
Yeah, there's Batman, and he says funny bat puns.
There's Batman, and he talks about wings or whatever, and
And then
So
that
that's a
time,
Batman?
like joke where he's like throwing all like the batarangs and you can't
Yeah.
hit it, and I'm like, that's such a Batman thing.
First try. It does look funny. Like it's gonna be some fun for the family. It'll be one of these, like, animated movies that are legitimately just fun for everybody. Because who doesn't like Lego? Like even the Lego games are fun. Like Lego is just Lego's a national treasure.
And that's why I think Minecraft is so popular. People are like, I don't got Legos no more to build cool things, so I'm gonna take the next step and make with Lego.
Well, pretty
basically.
much, eh? Like,
It's sad because the Lego company actually has Lego Minecraft.
really? And the graphics are better than Minecraft.
Yeah, it's like limited edition play sets.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they have mine. That's sweet. That's funny. I'd actually could get that.
Minecraft's getting something.
I'm not even a Minecraft guy, but I'd still get
There'll be
it.
like drinks for Minecraft now. There'll be like sodas. Dirt flavored.
I wanted to see Jack Ryan just because I not that I think would be an amazing movie. I just think it would be a good time. Like just like a a solid 6.5 out of 10 or 7 maybe. Like just a movie that's fun because not every movie has to be a 9. I only mention this because I'm just kind of looking through the Rotten Tomatoes things, seeing what things are get. The Wolf of Wall Street only has a 77%. I thought that was supposed to be loved by like everyone, but yeah. So you got anything? Got anything you want to add? Anything you want to shout out to anybody?
If Dr. Manhattan and Superman had a fight?
Dr. Manhattan would crush him.
But it's kind of like the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Unstoppable force being Superman because you wouldn't really be able to move Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan isn't. He's like everything, and he's like I can't even remember what exactly his deal was, but he was like pretty much just invincible.
Yeah.
Like literally invincible. Superman's not invincible. You can hurt Superman. Dr. Manhattan would probably just be like, well, here's my big blue schlong. I'm gonna beat Superman with it, but I'm not really gonna care. I'm just gonna go to the moon after.
Yeah, he's probably gonna cry at the moon and
I'm gonna go to the moon and emote about it later on.
Going back and forth in time, going through my life. Well, Superman just blasts.
We should just either watch the Watchmen movie because that was a good movie. It didn't get. I don't think it got the reviews it should have because it was a fantastic movie. Or we could just read the comic.
Both of which are amazing.
I think it's probably about time I do watch the Watchmen movie again. See what's up.
Who watches the Watchmen?
Me.
Yeah, I do.
It's based off my life, man.
You watching them? I always knew. I kept seeing you in the movie.
I was there. I was in the back.
I'd look at a storm drain. You'd just be popping up, just giving him a little smile.
A creepy smile.
Whenever Rorschach was on the roof when he thought he was alone talking, you were actually in, like, where the comedian, like, was thrown out of the room. I think I saw you, like, come out of the closet.
Are you calling me gay?
Essentially.
We here on the podcast respect all homosexuals
Rorschach was like,
and
would look
transgender people
and shout, "Save us!" And then you're like, "Save us!"
And I'm like, I got games to play. I don't got time for this.
Yeah, but you're too busy watching him because he's been your like idol since you were like 2.
Rorschach, he's a douche. I used to argue with dudes on forums because he's like, what I always liked about him was that he's kind of like the stereotypical badass superhero, although he doesn't really have powers. But he's like the guy everyone likes because he's one of those dudes who just says really cool things, like, what was it, like, I'm not locked in here with them, they're locked in here with me,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, I don't know if that was the exact quote, but that was the gist of it. Like, how can you not cheer for a dude like that? But then he was always like a nationalist, like. It's been a while since I read it, so I don't know. Was he racist?
Yeah, I think he was a bit racist.
Yeah, he was a racist.
Well, he just hated Russians. Didn't he just hate Russians?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I just remember back in the day I used to argue, like, he was just kind of a douchebag. Like...
So is really everyone in that comic. No, there's just Night Owl who's...
Yeah, but you know who I... It sounds terrible, and people are going to be like, wow, this guy's a terrible person. But I've always... not related to the comedian, but I've always understood his viewpoint because, I mean, his whole thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it has been years since I've read Watchmen, but his whole thing was that nothing really matters. Everything's a joke.
Yeah, just laugh. Basically.
Like, and I don't think that nothing matters, or anything like that. And I certainly wouldn't let he raped. Who was it? Who did you rape?
Silk Spectre, the original
Yeah.
Silk Spectre.
Like, I would never rape anybody. Not the people that are locked in my basement. That's for sure.
Or me.
Or Jacob. But I kind of got his, viewpoint. Because I'm the type of dude who, I don't make jokes about real serious things. Like, if someone's family member dies, I'm not going to make a joke about it. But a lot of the darker things in the world, the depressing shit, I make jokes because it's a way to lighten up the world a little bit. Like, if you aren't...
Can't get stuck in the past, essentially.
Yeah, you can address serious issues in a non-complete, in a way that isn't completely serious. Old Kurt Vonnegut used to do the same thing. He uses satire.
Like, if someone bombs the town, I doubt on the day you're just going to laugh about it.
Yeah.
10 years down the road...
You're going to make a satire. Certain things are off limits. I'm not going to joke about a certain thing. But the comedian just takes it too far. He gets to the point where he's literally just nothing matters.
Everything's a joke, essentially.
Yeah, everything's a joke.
Which is
that's too far.
Isn't that basically what the Joker thought, too? Just laugh at everything.
Joker's kind of organized chaos. But I guess you could sort of say they're similar.
I thought he was a dog chasing cars.
In the movie. You know there was Batman before the movies? I didn't.
Nah, it was just... Nah.
Well, we should probably wrap this bad boy up. We're at about an hour and a half. We'll try to make these shorter, but to be honest, this is just a self-indulgent project, because I'm really not expecting that many people to listen to two random dudes talk about stuff. Because we're not quirky enough. We're not boxy, for the record. I love old Katie. That's her real name, in case you didn't know. I like her videos. I find her entertaining, but her box character was quirky and shit, and people are like, ah. We're not quirky. We're dead serious at all times.
Don't make jokes. We are the jokes.
Yes, actually, I would.
We're like the comedian.
We approve of everything he does at all times.
Let's put a smile on the face of all of you.
I hope you enjoyed our podcast.
Love you.
Jacob is he gets right down to business.
I want to make this personal.
I wish I had a GIF right now of this shit just got real from Bad Boys. Shit just got real. Jacob threw the L word out there in a hurry. Say it again.
Love you.
Look at the conviction in it. This. He's putting his all.
I don't want this to be this ain't no English essay. We aren't going to be impersonal to
This is personal. I'm gonna
contact all of you and just send you photos of myself and get close to you all.
Next podcast is gonna consist entirely of me whispering sweet nothings in your ear.
Good.
Not yours, because that's weird, dude. But I will just be like this, talking like this to you the whole time. I don't know if the camera picked that up. But fuck it, I did.
If not, he said he's gonna whisper to you.
Yeah, that's all I said. No,
Maybe
I'm sure the camera picked it up because I went up into it. Right up into it.
You're getting right up in its business.
So Jacob loves you.
I love you too.
I'm kind of indifferent to I don't really care. You don't really mean anything to me. But it's funny because it's basically what we're saying is you love Justin, and possibly maybe Gabe will listen because we shut him out. And I'm saying I'm indifferent to these guys.
Love you guys.
I love you all.
Thing is, see, since he doesn't respect you enough, how about you all take yourselves over to my channel with no videos and just wait?
Just wait. Just wait for his video.
You can just keep clicking refresh
what's it?
Every few weeks.
What's the URL?
YouTube.com/M men in capital C clogs.
There you go. There it is.
It was either that or what was it? The Dutch congressman, and one sounds catchy, the other one just sounds stupid. No
Yeah.
offense.
Not as
To
good
the-
as on the
to the Dutch.
podcast.
Nah, on the podcast
I mean-
was one of the most original names.
I mean, someday we may change the title, but for now, we're on.
I hope someday I'm on the podcast.
I'm on the podcast.
Yeah. Sometimes
We'll call up a guest sometime when actually somebody wants, like when somebody actually wants to be on it. I'll be like, "What's the podcast name?" On the podcast. Well, no, I know I'm going to be on the podcast. What's the name?
Yeah.
On the podcast.
Yeah, you're on the podcast. What podcast?
On the podcast.
Yeah,
And we'll be
I'm
like,
out. I'm
Yeah,
leaving this
I'm
podcast.
done. And then they'll just hang up on us.
I don't understand what was wrong with that man.
Why did he keep repeating on the podcast?
And we're just crying because we lost our only guest. I mean, we had a Vast as a guest, I guess. We have to kind of interrupt it.
Vash showed up.
We had
a
to
little
shut it
bit.
down, though. Can't just be interrupted.
You can't
though.
shut down a Vast. What are you talking
Well,
about?
we're like, no,
a Vast
Vast.
stays with you.
We don't like guests that just interrupt us. If we're saying that next time, we just need to have someone like Shield style interrupt us. And
Well,
just take over the podcast.
I'm gonna throw out my plans. Probably do another week or so of just me and you. Maybe then I'll try to get a guest or two, because we do have some peeps that want to be on it.
We need the
Gabe
Shield
wants
on
to
it.
be on it. Justin wants to be on it. My woman wants to be on it.
Could you imagine the Shield? Like, they'd play their. Well, actually, I guess they couldn't play their.
I would
music.
mate with all three of them,
They-
but especially Roman Reigns if he showed up.
Since they wouldn't have the rights to just play it on here, they have like a cheap YouTube remix by some
Yeah.
random like remixer, and it'd be like a dubstep remix. It'd be like, "Dana."
Wow! You know,
Sarah.
oh, it's funny you mentioned dubstep because at work, and I won't mention her name because I don't want to incriminate her like this. Not that she'll ever listen to this. I was talking to my coworker because we got a new station that they were playing, and I heard Skrillex.
Radio.
I heard Skrillex, and it was the song there that was in Spring Breakers. What was it, Gods and Monsters or something? Or was that? I don't even know what the name is. That's the first time I actually heard it was on Spring Breakers, which was the best movie of 2013. Harmony Korine gets free plugs all day from me. But, so I was playing Skrillex, and I was like, and she's quite a bit older than I am. Like, different worlds, but,
Different worlds. She an alien?
yeah.
Oh.
So, anyway. So I'm like, I love this. And this is how we're closing out the podcast, I guess. I was like, man, I kind of love the music they're playing just because it's weird, because you don't really expect to hear, like, dubstep in, like, a grocery store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird, because it's an old person town, basically. And old people have complained about music before, and I would imagine they would complain about stuff like dubstep, right? And she was like, well, I don't even know what song's playing. I'm like, well, take a listen. And she never really heard, but I'm like, it was dubstep, and she didn't know what it was. So I was like, this is how I explain dubstep. I'm like, well, basically dubstep is a genre, and it's defined by this. The first part of the song is like something nice, like, do-do-do-do-do-do, you know, something nice, something pretty. And then the beat drops, and all you hear is, and this is what I did to her, whoa, 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 whoa. And she looked
It's
at
sad
me.
because you'll think of Spring Breakers when you hear like Skrillex. The only thing I'll ever think of Skrillex is by like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point too, because
That's where
Beavis
I
and
first heard
Buttheads
him.
are also national treasures. But yeah, that's my story.
Oh, did you just stick a Nicolas Cage reference in there?
No, I just for some reason I've just been saying national treasure a lot. Like I said somebody who makes music, like on one of my blog posts, I said that at this point he should be considered a national treasure. I think I might have said the same thing, but no, I didn't say the same thing about Disaster Piece, another like indie guy. He makes like a lot of music for indie games and stuff. I consider him like a national treasure at this point. I've said national treasure in this podcast earlier too. But no, not that
I
Nicolas
don't
Cage.
say that anymore. You may come try to steal us on the podcast.
Nicolas Cage can steal me All day.
Actually, maybe
All
he
day,
should be
all
on a
day.
podcast. So basically, we need the Shield, and we should have the Shield and Nicolas Cage at the same time.
At the very least, we should have Dean Ambrose and Nicolas Cage, because Dean Ambrose will cut a crazy promo about shooting dogs, and Nicolas Cage will just
He'll try to
be Nicolas Cage.
He'll try to steal the plans.
Is that the only Nicolas Cage movie you've seen?
No, that's just like the reference. It's always like
National Cage. Nicolas Cage is a national treasure in National Treasure.
Did I see that picture?
National
of this
Treasure
woman
Inception.
with larger
Wow.
breasts, and it's Nicolas Cage on her like body, and it's like, are you staring at my national treasures? That's
All right.
like,
All right, we've done this for an hour and a half.
Peace.
Plus the theme song. Look how quick he says he loves you, and then he's really quick to get rid of you. We've done this for an hour and a half. Peace. All right.
I'll leave you with. Boom, boom,
That
should have been our theme. I mean, no offense to Gabe, his theme is good.
Now, Gabe's theme is bitchin'.
but I think my dubstep.
Gabe, if you're listening, you should totally do the dubstep remix.
Yeah, can you please do a remix of your own song and upload it to your own channel too? It looks even better that way. Like other people are even remixing your song.
No, he's doing it. He's putting his own work in. Anyway, we could just sit here and ramble about whatever.
See ya, Gabe and Justin. A loyal fan base.
We can't even say like "see ya, mom" because mom won't listen to this shit. I hope she doesn't, because I've talked about raping people and stuff. So we can't even say our mom's gonna support us. Anyway, you got a final statement?
See ya.
Later on.
Peace.
Well, thanks for listening to On the Podcast.
And you people have been on the podcast.
You have been on the podcast. Peace. Filmed. And then there's foreign cinema. I'm just making this up. I'm just bullshitting you.
You're being cultured, and I'm so uncultured that not only do I not use two forks, sometimes I'll eat food with just my hands. Sometimes I don't even want to hold back. Then I'll just grab the fries and just shove them in my mouth.
Sometimes I just shove the food up my nose.
I'm
just trying to get it in all holes.
And it's like,
once.
as I'm shoving it in, I'm still pouring the ketchup on and trying to like guzzle that and pop. And soda for those other people that don't say pop.
Who said soda, honestly?
I don't know. People usually say America, but all the Americans I see on like Reddit always say pop. I'm like, it's such a dying word. I kind of feel sad.
Don't say soda.
Or soda pop.
Speak English. Don't say soda.
We could say soda pop like that Outsider's character.
There's another book that you like.
I read that. Oh yeah, I also like the book A Separate Piece. Advanced English books.
Welcome to On the Podcast, the podcast where we talk about books, apparently.
And uncultured behaviors.
I didn't really see the podcast going in this direction, but I like it because books are an important part of my life. I'm actually... I hate saying this because it makes you sound like such a... I don't know. I feel like it makes me sound like a pretentious douche. But it's like, I want to be an author. I even started to write over the past week, but everything I wrote I didn't like. Which is a big deal for me, considering I've been saying I'm going to write for like a decade.
And I believe, by looking at the writers of 50 Shades of Grey, you do not need much formal training. You don't need to go to university.
All you got to do is do like a Twilight fan fiction, change the names, release, throw in a little bit of kinky sex, and all the people who have never spent like long on the internet will be like, oh, this sex, I can't believe people are having this kind of sex. Like, I can. I've seen worse. Every day of my life.
I am worse.
I do worse. I'm just joking. Nobody will sleep with me. Listen, what do you want to say? I know you want to say something.
The thing is, to write a book, you don't need fancy education. Really, you need heart and determination. And the ability to write.
I feel up until the last part, I felt like you were going John Cena on me or something.
Never give up.
Never give
and
up.
Please be able to write.
But listen.
I mean, you could talk it, and someone could write it down, but that's just too much money wasted.
Listen. It's going back to something I think we were talking about like 6 minutes ago or something. So you know what my problem with reading is? I always lay down to read right before bed. So like I get like maybe half an hour, and I don't read real fast, but so I get maybe half an hour in, and then I'm just tired. So sometimes it takes me a long time to read a book. Why did I feel the need to share that? I don't know, but it's my podcast.
You know what my problem with reading is? I don't
You
really.
can't?
Yeah, let's face that. I might as well just say, I'm probably on the level of a third grader because most kids are reading chapter books by like grade like 3, and it took me to grade 6 to be able to get through one. And most people are like, I can read 1,000 pages in a weekend. I'm like, man, it took me a month to get through 100. What are you doing?
1,000 pages in a weekend would require a lot of reading from me. Like I can do, well, I don't even know, but that would take a whole lot of reading. I don't think I could do it.
Nah, I don't.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of On the Podcast, the podcast with, well, kind of a stupid name. Let's be honest. Let's call it spade here, On the Podcast. But I guess we kind of made it the name because it's stupid and because of the awkward English of it. Like, hey, you are on the podcast. You're not going to say anything about
Or simply, you're on the podcast. Oh, hello, you're on the podcast.
Yo, you're on the podcast. So it's a crappy name. We're also hoping that Google searches help us out because it's generic as possible. But anyway, this voice right here that you're listening to, I'm Tyler. I'm the creator and the only writer as of now for onthegamely.blogspot.com, a video game blog that gets updated fairly often. My Twitter is what's my Twitter? Twitter.com. What am I? Art bathed in crime, but in is spelt with an N. This is really awkward. I'm just gonna cut this short because my Twitter doesn't matter. Just go to the blog, and I'm mobbing with Jacob,
The one and only Jacob, the founder of Men in Clogs. It's a gaming channel on YouTube that has no videos yet. The playlists aren't even public. So maybe you shouldn't go to that for a few weeks.
So don't go to it.
For a few weeks. Or ever.
Yeah, don't go to it. But when it's up, we will let you know. But yeah, so welcome to On the Podcast, and let's get this thing started. And welcome back. That was our theme song, made specifically for us, can you believe it, by Gabe Vinyls, and I'm gonna shout out some information about him because he's bigger and browner than me, so he can probably kick my ass. But he's a good dude. So follow Gabe on Twitter at Dungeon Studio NY. Peep his SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Gabriel-Vinyls. Vinyls is spelled VINYLZ. Or like his Facebook page, facebook.com/The Dungeon Studio. He makes music, and he's just a chill dude.
Awesome music.
Awesome music. And he made that bitchin' power metal-y white boy rock video game theme song for us. And we thank him very much. So once again, that's
Thanks.
on Twitter at Dungeon Studio NY.
We'll be sending you your check soon.
We're not doing that for real. But, alright. So, this is... I guess I should say that even though this podcast...
And then my channel will have to mooch off of this podcast.
We should just make a whole podcast talking about how famous we're going to be. We are going to be so famous that... No, I'm really not clever enough.
The thing
to do
is,
this.
we're sitting in a room with a video camera, and that's how we're talking. But most people have studios.
Yeah, like, we're so low budget.
And the best part of the preparation was 5 minutes before it, I was sneezing a lot and just sitting.
No, our preparation for this was me trying to find the cord to plug into the camera to charge it for like a good hour. Like this podcast should have been done, and I should have been like in a hot tub with like the multiple girls that I have at my house at all times.
I should have been doing that in GTA.
Yeah. Well, all right. So what have I been doing? You ask.
Hot tubbing?
I've been working. I feel like if we ask each other this every podcast, I'm never gonna have anything remotely interesting.
He works
to
at a
say.
hot tub factory.
I work at a hot tub factory. No, I'm not gonna say where I work because I'm not giving them because then they'll be famous.
Yeah, I'll mooch off your work.
Let's see.
And they'll find me too.
On like a serious note, what have I been doing? I've been writing for the blog. I've been playing games. I've been reading books. You know, books are smart. You should read.
Nah, I read like 20 pages an hour because I find it hard to concentrate on books. I find them hard to understand. I find it hard to picture them. So no, some are okay.
You don't like.
I liked the Notebook.
Ugh. You just admitted that on the interwebs.
And I liked the Green Mile, and I liked the Rorschach text, and I liked the Wizard of Oz. No, it's no, the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. Narnia, that's the one. And I liked the Tale of Desperado.
You just list every book you like. Well, in that case,
And I liked the Lego magazine.
I like Metamorphosis or the Metamorphosis from Franz Kafka. I like Death is a Lonely Business by Ray Bradbury.
Oh yeah, I also
I
liked Kurt Vonnegut.
Kurt Vonnegut. You know he's been dead for like, God, what's it been, like 3 or 4 years or something? That sucks.
Oh yeah, in like 2006.
Holy, it's been that long? It sucked. That was like the worst year ever because Kurt Vonnegut died and then like Ingmar Bergman died. So we had like 2 legends of their respective art forms dead in the same. I mean, we get lots of legends that die in the same year, but those 2 hurt me most because Vonnegut's been my favorite author for years, and while Bergman isn't my favorite movie director of all time, he's in my top 20, and he's an absolute legend of foreign cinema. And you can't say foreign movies when you're talking about foreign movies because it has to be. You have to be cultured. You have to be like foreign cinema.
Yeah, I'm not very cultured.
That just makes you sound smart.
I don't even use 2 forks.
Or
I
foreign
use
films. You know, there's like different levels of class, I guess. It's like, there's like foreign movies, which makes you sound American and stupid. Or Canadian and stupid. And then there's like foreign films, which is like a little more high class because it's like films.
Story that kind of, or many of the things, like even the music, like originally I was like, oh man, the radio's going to be awesome. But to be honest, it's probably one of the worst radios I've ever heard in a game because it's the only like 5 songs that repeat and they're like the worst songs I've ever heard. But the online is what sets it apart because there's so much to do. I can buy an apartment, and then I can buy a mansion. I can store cars. I can store ugly cars. I roll up in VW buses into like when people are having wars, like players are just battling in the streets. They're all bringing in their supercars, and I roll up in a VW bus, and I'm like, no one.
See, but that's my whole life. Like that's my real life.
You roll into battles in VW buses.
Yeah.
We live together. You ain't telling me this.
No, I don't. I gotta have a secret life that you don't know about. I mean, I'm Grand Theft Auto is pretty much based on my life.
So essentially, my favorite GTA is your life.
Yes.
I knew they took influence from you.
If to the people, all 3 of you maybe, that are listening to this podcast, the moral of the story is GTA is based on my life. Yeah.
Well, and that's basically all I've been doing. What have you been doing?
That isn't an awkward, like, forced transition, is it? Man, podcasts are cheesy. What are you doing with your life?
I'm not very good at interviews. Tried one at school today.
You did?
I kind of just walked away from it.
Who'd you interview?
I interviewed a teacher for a video. I had to be like, so what do you like about your job? Or no, it was like, I had to pretend I was from CNN, and I'm like, they were asking me about some sports guy. They're like, "Do you know this person?" And I'm like, "No, I don't really." And they're like, they're my favorite." I'm like, "They're my favorite too," and I just kind of walked away.
That's a great story. You have a real future in journalism.
Yeah,
And,
I'm really good at it.
yeah, I can see that.
That's why I'm on this podcast.
Well, this podcast is pretty much going to shoot us right to fame anyway, so I'm not really too concerned. We won't need to really. We'll get to the point. Like our fame will be so great that we'll be famous just because we're famous. Like we won't have to do anything.
We'll be that podcast people hate, and they'll mention us. Be like, when you want to make a podcast, don't be like these guys.
Yeah, like maybe you should be a little prepared because we're not really that prepared. We have a few topics to discuss just in case conversation dies, but we're trying to make this a little more free form. To anybody who watched our videos called On the Gamely back when the blog was called Gamecepticon, it was more topic based. Like we put in a lot of effort to do some research and come up with topics, and we tried to stay on topic.
Well,
We're just
one of us put an effort in.
Yeah, you, because I don't do nothing. I got little like midgets doing my work for me. Midgets? No, nothing against midgets. They do good work.
Warwick Davis, my favorite R2D2.
Well, there you
I
go.
hope I got that right. Yeah, basically.
You gonna go anywhere
I
with
kind of
that?
had a train of thought about.
But the train went off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, we'll be famous.
Podcast is gonna be on a video game blog. It's not just about video games. It's about, we're always going to talk video games, because video games are an important part of our lives, because we are nerds. But it isn't just about video games, because I'll be honest, I talk about video games all the time on the blog, and sometimes it's just nice to, talk about other interests. So this is going to be a more general thing, but it'll always come back to video games at some point.
We like wrestling, and wrestling will be talked about.
Yeah, we like wrestling.
And world affairs, but who cares about world affairs when you got games and wrestling, sweaty dudes, and fake people?
Exactly. And I think Jacob might be planning on doing a wrestling podcast, or a podcast of his own, where we're going to recap, I guess, wrestling, or Raw, or whatever. But until then, we'll be talking wrestling on here, I guess. So, let's get, after this long thing, let's get this baby going. So what's been up with you?
Well, I don't want to advertise anymore, but I've been making that channel, and that's all I've been doing. Oh, I've been playing GTA.
You've been playing GTA.
Well, GTA Online. To all those fans who say you should play the story first, I didn't. I haven't even touched the story outside like the first mission because I didn't know you could start the online. But I'm one of those people. But it just didn't seem important to me. If it would have gave me money online or something, I probably would have. But I just went right into the online, and I've ruled the city. I like to think that Los Santos is my city now.
I have I've been a gamer for so long, but it's like I haven't even played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I didn't even really want to, regardless of how many good reviews it got and whatnot. I wasn't feeling it, but I kind of watched you play online a little bit, not much, but a little bit, and I feel like if that came out in the next gen, I would probably buy it. But since my PS3 broke, and I only have my PS4 and my Wii U and my Dreamcast, the real next gen system, I can't really play Grand Theft Auto 5. But that doesn't really make me sad because I don't doubt that it's awesome. How can beating up hookers and shit get old, really? But at this point, we have so many open world games and whatnot that I'm kind of, I don't know if over it is the right term, because I do like open world games, but it seems like every game they want to pull this non-linear open world stuff, and that's fine, But there's really nothing wrong with a linear game that doesn't take 40 hours to beat or more. Or not beat, like you can beat most story modes in a shorter period of time. But like I don't actually need 40 hours of gameplay because there's so many other games I want to play too. But, you know, that's just my thought.
Statement number 2 to annoy people even more. It's probably one of my favorites, and it wouldn't even be the story.